What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. This is going to be something a little bit different. I'm going to be reacting to preseason predictions. These are going to be standings predictions for this year that me, Eric, and all our mods made. And then we're going to look at some of the award predictions. We're going to talk about what was good and what was bad. And it should be a pretty chill, laid-back video. Not going to do too much editing for this one. Just going to kind of scrub through these streams that we had at the beginning of the year on our second channel, Blazers Uprise Live. If you haven't subscribed to that, there is a link in the description box below. Go subscribe to our second channel. We're streaming Mondays, Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Pacific time in the off season. So 2 streams a week. Let's jump into things. Starting off with standings predictions. Now, I'll have the standings on my phone, and I will, kind of compare things to what we had. And that's basically what this video is going to be. So let's just scrub on through. It looked like everybody had the Orlando Magic except Zach was a little bit late. It looks like, potentially. I don't remember exactly what happened there, but Chris had Pistons, and then everybody else had Magic. The Magic were the last place team in the Eastern Conference. I had Cleveland, which is disappointing because I was high on Cleveland before the season. I don't know why I put them so low. Let me see if I can find where I was talking about how Cleveland might be the Cinderella team this year. Raptors at 14 was a bit of a mistake there from Jackson, obviously. Sorry, Jackson, but gotta air out that pick there. I can't find where I said good things about the Cavs. I definitely had them too low, but I remember talking about how I like them as maybe a Cinderella team. Like, I wasn't super confident having them that low. Anyway, I digress. I couldn't find it. That's unfortunate because I've been talking about that all year. Anyway, 14th was Detroit. So you're looking at, I don't know who's on this right column here, but you're looking at a couple people that have it correct, but both of them had Cleveland at 13, and 13 it was at 13 it was Indiana. All right, let's just scroll through this thing. Lots of people had Toronto at 12, Cleveland, the Washington Wizards, and then at 11 you started to get some different consensus. Obviously, we weren't high enough on the Raptors. This is where we start filling in Zach's pick, but Zach had the Raptors at 13. So a lot of people that didn't trust the Raptors, and they obviously got the 5th seed. So the playoffs haven't started off too well for them, but they did a lot better than we expected. You had Washington come in at 12th, so I was correct there. And Krish had the Knicks at 11, so Krish was actually spot on there. Krish has 4 of the bottom 5. He is actually the most accurate so far through this video, surprisingly. Everybody had the Cavs, and the Cavs obviously weren't in the bottom 5, but Krish has 4 out of the 5, so props to him. Let's scroll forward in this thing a little bit more. Now we start the top 10. It's a little different graphic. The Hornets at 10, which is correct. So me, Reese Jackson, correct on that one. This is the first I've seen the Pacers, and the Pacers are the one team that was bottom 5 that people didn't have. The Pacers were basically the Cavs this year. Let's scroll forward. Bulls at 9 for me. I did not trust the Bulls, and the Bulls started hot, but they can't beat good teams. So I had them as 9. They ended up finishing 6th. You got lots of Hornets votes here, and then Krish finally put the Raptors. So Krish was the final person to put the Raptors. He was the highest on them, and still 4 spots too low for them. Lots of Knicks picks here. It was hard to make out what the Knicks were going to do this year. Obviously, after their Cinderella run last year, they didn't follow that up with any success, didn't even make the play-in. It was really hard to get a good feel for them. A couple more Bulls votes as well. Now you start to get into things that are a little bit weird. You got the Sixers, obviously, the Ben Simmons, oh my goodness. The Ben Simmons saga was playing out during that time, so a lot of Sixers votes here. Let's see what I went with. I went with the Knicks at 7. Eric had the Knicks at 6. Some Celtics votes. It was hard to make out the Celtics. Lots of 6th place votes there. They ended up finishing 2nd, almost won the Eastern Conference. Let's scroll forward a little bit more. The Hawks, everybody was higher on the Hawks, obviously coming off of conference finals. People thought they were going to follow that up a little bit better than they did. They ended up finishing in 8th place. No, they finished in 9th and played their way into 8th place. So people like the Hawks. They thought they were going to follow it up with some sort of success, and they didn't do so, unfortunately, for their sake. Philadelphia at 4, that's where they finished. I had them at 4. You got the first Heat vote. I don't know who that is. I wish I, scrolled up in this video. You got some Heat votes here as well. Let's see who we're all highest on. It was all between Brooklyn and Milwaukee, if I recall correctly. So I have Milwaukee as a 1 seed. They finished 3rd. Brooklyn finished 7th. So the seeding in the East was really, really weird. Who was the most accurate in the top 10? Krish had Boston 3rd. He was highest on them. They finished 2nd. Krish had the Bulls at 6th. They finished 6th. Miami and Atlanta were wrong at 4 and 5, but people weren't really right on Miami at all. Honestly, if I had to say, just looking at this thing, just eyeballing it, Krish might have done the best, because he was highest on the Raptors, he had the Celtics, he was the highest on them, and everybody was too low on those teams. There isn't any real egregious pick. He got Chicago there at 6. He had Milwaukee above Brooklyn. If we scroll back here, he had the Knicks at 11. He was lowest on the Knicks, and the Knicks obviously didn't pan out. So, in terms of Eastern Conference standings predictions between me, Eric, and all our mods, I have to give it to Krish. I think Krish did the best in terms of predicting things, so congratulations to Krish. Let's get into the Western Conference. This is going to be interesting and also very, very sad. As far as the worst team, we were very divided between OKC, Houston, and San Antonio. San Antonio obviously made the play-in. OKC and Houston were the bottom 2 teams. Houston was the worst, so you got a couple people there. I keep forgetting who's in each column. That sucks, but you know, we'll move forward from this, from the bottom feeders. Everybody agreed that these were the bottom 3 teams except for Krish, who had New Orleans at 13. So Krish has not followed up his good Eastern Conference with a good Western Conference, unfortunately. But the Spurs, everybody was a little bit too low on them. Obviously too high on the Portland Trailblazers. I had the Pelicans at 12th. Kings at 12th for Eric. I really wish I could see the top of the screen. I had the Timberwolves at 11th, so that's a miss. I know Reese was super high on the Timberwolves heading into the season, so he called that right. Now let's look at the top 10. I had the Grizzlies at 10th too. This was really not a good predictions year for me, guys. I had the Grizzlies at 10th, and nobody was super high on the Grizzlies. I thought they got worse this year, and then obviously they took a huge jump. Eric had Timberwolves at 10. You had Zach going Pelicans at 10 and Reese going Pelicans at 10. Kings at 9. I don't know why I was so high on the Kings and thought they'd be in the play-in game. Doesn't really make any sense to me. I was highest on the Kings for sure. Reese seems like highest on the Grizzlies, unless he put them before, which I don't think he did. Oh no, he put them before. He put them at 12, so a little bit of an L there. We're going to move forward. Everybody agreed on the Clippers being like a 7 and 8 seed, and they ended up missing Paul George for a lot of time. You're starting to get some Warriors votes, but the one thing that stands out is Zach nailed the Lakers. Zach had the Lakers at 8, and we were wondering what the hell he was doing. And he was right. He didn't have them low enough. They finished 11th. So shout out to Zach for that prediction. Really good prediction there, Zach. I was too low on the Mavericks as well. I mean, just really not. I had the Warriors at 6. Just really not a good predictions. Western Conference predictions series. One team we haven't seen is the Portland Trailblazers. Oh man, that's sad. At 5, we got a Blazers pick from Krish. Everybody else had the Blazers top 4. Oh, what a time to be alive. You got Utah, Denver, so Portland. I had Portland at 3. Trevin had Portland at 3. Zach had Portland at 3. Let's just fill the rest of this thing out. I was highest on the Suns. So was Zach, Trevin, and Krish. So shout out there. Obviously, the Lakers picks here in the top 4 did not pan out whatsoever. I was lower on the Jazz than everybody else, and they did end up finishing 5th. So I called that. Denver at 5 is fine. They ended up finishing 6th. Too low on Golden State. Pretty much everybody was. Nobody thought they'd come back and be a 3 seed. You got the Clippers. Everybody pretty much nailed that. Reese was a little bit too low, but they ended up finishing 8th. So everybody was 7, 8, or 9. I was too high on the Kings. It's really hard to see who really called this one. If I had to say, I would maybe have to say Zach, because he was the lowest on the Lakers, and that was correct. He was tied for the highest on the Grizzlies, and that was correct. They ended up being a 2 seed, obviously. And he was highest on the Pelicans. They ended up playing their way in. They finished 9th, but played their way into 8th. As far as the Mavericks, Nuggets, Clippers, all in good spots. I mean, we're all too low on the Warriors and the Trailblazers. If you go back and look at his bottom 5, he was a little too low on the Timberwolves compared to everybody else, but eyeballing it, if I had to give it to someone, I'd have to give it to Zach. So shout out to Zach, man. Let me know who you think had the best Eastern and Western Conference predictions down in the comments section below. Sorry about the names at the top. This second part will be a little bit more obvious. We're going to look at awards predictions. So the first thing we started off with was MVP. And a lot of people had Giannis. Krish memed this and put Norman Powell. Chat, you guys had Dame, and then Zach had Devin Booker. We were obviously all wrong. Devin Booker and Giannis, solid choices. Dame got injured, so, you know, who knows, if he was healthy, maybe he could have gotten it. Norman Powell, obviously just a terrible pick. Next up, we had Rookie of the Year, and it looks like Evan Mobley's going to win it this year, and nobody had Evan Mobley. I had Jalen Green, Reese had Jalen Green, Chat had Jalen Green. Jalen Green didn't end up being a good pick whatsoever. Zach had Jalen Suggs. He struggled as a rookie. Krish had James Bouknight for some reason, and he barely even played. Trevin, Josh Giddey, solid pick, probably better than any other pick on the board. You got Cade Cunningham, he was third place. He obviously put up stats, so Josh Giddey wasn't better than him, but everything else Josh Giddey was better than. This was an interesting Rookie of the Year race. So now we're looking at Defensive Player of the Year. Krish actually came in with a good pick with Mikal Bridges, who was probably the best vote out of all of these. Joel Embiid, solid defensive year, wasn't as good of a candidate as Mikal Bridges in my opinion. Draymond Green didn't really have a defensive player caliber year. Anthony Davis couldn't even stay healthy, so that was a rough pick from Jackson and Eric. And Reese went with Rudy Gobert, obviously a very solid choice given his reputation winning this award. Chat, you guys ended up going Giannis, solid pick, but gotta give props to Krish for this one after his two terrible picks. He went Mikal Bridges, so that was a good vote in my opinion. Next up, we had Most Improved Player. I went Darius Baisley. He didn't really improve at all. Daniel Gafford was Eric's pick. Didn't really work out. Zach went Lonzo Ball. I mean, he's pretty established as what he is. Trevin and Chat, you guys went Jordan Poole. Probably the best picks on this board. Reese went Keldon Johnson. He didn't really take as much of a jump as people were expecting. Jackson went Jaren Jackson Jr. He's still inefficient, but really good defensively. And then Krish ended up going with O'Shea Brissett. O'Shea freaking Brissett from Krish. Don't really understand that one. So he's 1 for 4. Krish definitely memed these. And, you know, we told the mods to take it seriously because you never know. We might react to this. And, yeah, Krish should have listened. Now we're going 6th Man of the Year picks. I voted Tyrese Halliburton. He ended up starting too much to win the award. Eric went Tyler Hero, and he ended up being correct on that one. Tyler Hero ran away with that award. Chat and Zach went Anthony Simons. Honestly, if Anthony kept coming off the bench, there was a chance that maybe he could be a top 3 candidate. Tyler Hero put up 20 points per game, so it was going to be hard for Anthony Simons to match that. Jalen Brunson, a solid pick, but he ended up starting games for the Mavericks. Terrence Mann from Krish didn't really pan out. Malik Beasley from Trevin didn't pan out. Derrick Rose from Reese didn't really pan out. So shout out Eric for picking Tyler Hero. Now this was for pick of the year. Me, Eric, Trevin, and Chat, we went with Chauncey Billups. That didn't really pan out. Krish went Ime Udoka, very solid pick there for the Celtics. Reese went Chris Finch, very solid pick there for the Timberwolves. And Zach went with Monty Williams, very solid pick there. Jackson ended up going Eric Spoelstra. The Heat got the 1 seed. So all 4 of those picks, very solid picks. Anybody that picked the Blazers, you're a moron. And that includes me. Let me know who you thought had the best awards predictions. Let me know who you think had the best predictions in general down in the comment section below. I'm very curious to see this debate and what you guys think. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. It was a little something different, something easy to put together, something fun. So just thought I'd go and look at some of the preseason predictions for today's video. You know, I'm putting out daily content, so gotta fill your days with something. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Anyway, that's a wrap for the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.